How you doing, guys? This is Josh from the Dundalk DBZ Dojo, and I'm coming at you here with an Orange Tien deck list. As you see, today we're going to be using the Orange Adaptive Mastery, along with, of course, Tien from Set 2, Heroes and Villains. Um, Tien, of course, got some love in the Perfection set with Tenshinhan's Tri-Beam. It's a great card. We'll be going over it later on in the video. But for right now, I just want to go over this part here. Um, this deck does try to stay on level 1, level 2, and as you can see here on level 1, we've got the power lets us banish a card from the top of our life deck. In order to search our life deck for a named card, this is going to let us get Tri-Beams, Tenshinhan's Draining Blast. It's going to let us get Pesky Barrage, and it's going to let us get Preparation. We do run all of the named attacks and named cards in this deck, um, and uh, it's kind of want to stay here, but if we do go up, perfectly fine because level 2, um, our attacks are going to deal +1 life card of damage. That is huge. It's a great thing. And then whenever the first time we use a critical damage effect, each combat we're going to be searching our discard pile for a non-styled card and rejuvenating it. So that's going to let us rebuy those tri-beams, rebuy those draining blasts, rebuy any peskies that wind up getting, hit for damage. It's pretty good. And then we got level 3 here. We're not going to get here that often, but it does have something where if we do get here, we can just use the effect or the power to pop up a level. It's a energy attack, so it gets modified by the mastery. And then finally, we've got level 4. Key things here on level 4, you can see we don't hit 500,000, even close to 500,000 on the max power stages. And then the effect of the first attack every combat going to be, staying in play a second time, so everything gets that pesky barrage. All right, now let's get on to the physicals. All right, guys. Starting off the physical attacks, we've got Orange Launcher here. Orange Launcher is a great card. It's got Endurance 1. It's going to be getting us a 3 life card physical attack, and then it's going to get us an automatic critical damage effect. So that's going to trigger that level 2 power. It's going to trigger, the Mastery's power of being able to search for a discard pile for a drill at the end of combat. It's something I don't see myself cutting any of, and it seems like it's going to stay 3 for the length of this deck. Next up, we've got 3 Orange Uppercuts. Orange Uppercut's a good card. It's going to be doing, AT plus 4. Normally our AT is not going to be too high. Probably never going to get, above maybe 1 in certain matchups. But +4 means we're always going to be doing at least 4 stages. And we'll see later exactly how we're going to guarantee that in most cases. And then paying 2 power stages, and you get to search your deck for peskies, for, whatever energy attack we need at the time. Key thing is we get to search out the tri-beams with this, and that's huge. And then finally in our physical attacks, we've got that Playful Punch. Because, gaining 5 stages, this deck is very, very energy heavy, as you're about to see. And gaining 5 stages is just key. It lets us keep stuff going, keep our attacks going, keep everything rolling. And then sometimes, you just need to use it to stop a non-styled attack, which is key because, hey, Cell's level 3 is a non-styled attack, guys. Let's just stop it with that. Still get the stage gain, still lower your opponent's anger. All works out in the end. Now, let's move on to our energy attacks. Alright, guys, starting out on the energy attacks here, we've got 3 orange power points. It's a great card, very high endurance, and as you can see, 6 life cards of damage. Of course, that's getting modified by the mastery. Of course, if you're on level 2, that's going to get modified. Of course, if you got Oil Drill out, that's going to get modified. That's huge numbers of damage. And then on top of that, if it hits, we get to search our life deck for a style drill and place it into play. That gets us out an aura drill that we maybe didn't already have. It gets us out a freezing drill. It gets us out whatever drill we need. Next up, we have 3 Orange Revenge. Orange Revenge is actually the card that costs the most stages of damage, which is 3 stages, but 4 life cards of damage, getting modified by all of our things that give us modifiers, as well as a potential few stages of damage. Um, Anger gain, never hurt anyone. And then if it hits, we get to choose 2 energy combat cards from our discard pile, place them back on top of our life deck. That's going to get you back some tri-beams, going to get you back, maybe some power points, whatever you really need. Unfortunately, it banishes after use, so you can't really get these back. Next up, we have Orange Stare Down, because sometimes, you just need to remove something for your opponent's board. It's, it's a good amount of life cards for the damage, 4 modified virus things. So, don't need to spend too much time on that. Got a single Orange Rage. It's got endurance, which is the main reason I keep it in. Anger gain, that's whatever. But then 5 life cards base. It's really good. Next up, we have a pair of Tien's Draining Blast. The main reason there's only 2 is because I don't own a third one. I would like to get a third one and put that in, probably replacing that Rage you just saw. But, let you get back any tri-beams that were banished. You can cycle. If you're on level 1, you can cycle these draining blasts. Just play one, hit it, use your ability or your power for level 1, get the other one from the bottom of your deck, play that one, bam, 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 just keep re-going. And it's not bad a bit of damage on it. Next up, we've got, of course, Pesky Barrage. We're playing a hero. We're not hitting 500,000 on our level 4, so we're going to be having this card in our deck. Lowering your opponent's anger. 2 attacks off of 1 card, always a good thing. And, the damage on this is just huge. And finally, in the energy attacks, 3 Tri-Beams. Tri-Beam, huge card, being an orange, especially with the master we use, getting 2 cards milled off the top of our deck, it's not that bad, it's just potentially opening up those drills to come right back onto the field at the end of combat, because this is probably going to hit, and it's probably going to crit, because of all the stuff we have. And then, hey, your opponent skips and you got to do it again. So that's it for the energies. Well, let's move on to our blocks. Alright guys, now we got our blocks. Starting out, we've got 3 Orange Energy Absorption. It's got endurance. Unfortunately, it banishes after use, but the key thing here is that it gains us stages. That is huge in this deck. Any card that gains the stages is key to the deck. The anger is not too huge, but gaining 5 stages can mean you get to keep going with those energy attacks that you probably have in your hand. Next up, we've got the Orange Energy Catch. Mainly this one's here for the huge endurance number, but, sometimes you use it and, get a couple stages of damage. Next up, we've got another stage gain here, an Orange Dodge, or Orange Quick Dodge. It's a good card. It prevents a stage of damage, so that's going to help you be able to keep those attacks flowing. Plus it gains you 3 stages. It's just really good. Final of the single blocks is going to be the Orange Refocus. Once again, mainly here for endurance, but getting us drill out of your discard pile. And key thing there, not just any drill, or not just a style drill, it's any drill you can get out of your discard pile. So that does allow us to get back the 1 non-style drill we play. And of course, time is a warrior's tool, because, as it says, time is a warrior's tool. Sometimes you just need to tell your opponent no for a turn. That's it for our blocks. Let's go straight into our events. Alright, so we're going to start off. We got 3 Orange Gatherings. Now, Orange Gathering is another one of the stage gain cards. We're going to gain 5 stages off of this. And then we get to get a look-see at the top cards of our deck. Get our stacking on. Draw a card. Really combos well with Tien's Prep. Now, Tien's Prep, Gains its anger, lowers our opponent's anger, destroys cards, and rejuvenates itself. Whenever this card is rejuvenated, you may, keyword may, draw a card. So you hit an Orange Gathering, followed up with a nice Tien's Prep, bam, you just got 2 cards off of that, and 2 cards that you wanted while getting rid of a card that you probably didn't. And then finally for our events, got 3 confrontations because you just want to make sure your attacks hit. Alright guys, we got the planning step cards coming up. First up, we have Orange Freezing Drill. Orange Freezing Drill is a good card because it stops your opponent from being able to modify your attack damage. That's big when we've got such huge attacks coming up. You know, like Tri-Beams can hit for 7, 8 cards. You've got your Peskies can hit for 8 or 9 cards. They really, really, really need to make sure that they get their full amount in and not get modified at all. And also, the second part of this, attacks can only be stopped by physical combat or energy combat cards. That just means that your opponent's times doesn't matter anymore. Your opponent's hybrid defense doesn't matter. Opponent's outrages doesn't matter. Anything that stops an attack that isn't a physical combat card or an energy combat card, they're really going to have a bad time. Next up, we've got Orange Aura Drill. Of course, Orange Aura Drill is going to be an energy beats deck. Gives your energy attacks +2 life cards of damage. That makes, your Tri-Beams 6, 7 life cards because of the mastery. Makes your Peskies up to 7 and becomes 8 with the mastery. Just all of these attacks that we're going to be running, except for, the 3 different physical attacks we run. This is going to be huge now. Next up, we have Orange Captivity Drill. Mainly in here to get the stage gain every time one of our energy attacks hit. This does make every one of our energy attacks in the deck, when they hit, completely free. Some of them, well, most of them, it actually makes it so you're actually gaining a stage by taking it with an energy attack instead of losing the stage. And that just is crucial. Next up, we've got the Orange Hiding Drill, because Orange Hiding Drill needs to be in a deck when you're on these lower MPs, and sometimes those AT life card things like Black Defensive Burst, stuff like that, which are getting played now. Sometimes you just need to find a way to knock those down, and this is your way. Next up, we have Orange Possession Drill. Now, Possession Drill is good because it lets us, filter through our deck, find the cards we need. Sometimes, we'll have to discard 2 cards, but you never normally want to do this without having at least 1 card in your hand, because you're going to always find at least 1 card. And finally, for on the style drills, we have Orange Focusing Drill. Now, Focusing Drill going to be in this deck because we want to make sure that our opponents cannot get rid of our other drills without getting rid of this first. This is going to be huge. You're going to use it as much as you can, and just hope that your opponent doesn't have more than 1 effect. And finally, for the drills at all, we have Aggressive Sword Drill. It makes it so our named attacks are no longer going to be preventable. That's huge. Let's get moving on to the setups. 2, Visiting the Past. Visiting the Past, get your rebuys on those Tri-Beams. Do it all over again. Heroic Plan lets us search out any of our drills that we need. Maybe sometimes we might need to search out a Visiting the Past because we need it. This card is big. And finally, a single Namek Dragon Ball 6 gives us the plus power up, minus stages to your opponent's damage. It's a really big card. So guys, that was my Orange Tien deck list. Make sure you comment below if you try it out. Let me know how you're doing. And be sure to subscribe to the Dundalk DBZ Dojo, where we're going to have more deck lists, gameplay videos, and other content coming at you real soon. Have a good one.